At one point, after I graduated college, I didn't have much going on because, well, I wasn't doing much of anything. As I've said before, it wasn't a good time to graduate because a lot of people were like going to grad school. I knew guys that were like, well, I got a degree in marketing, but I'm just going to get a degree in management, stay in school and kind of ride it out and hope for the best, which one way to do it. And I was like, I kind of want to be a corporate attorney. So I decided I was going to take the LSAT and go to law school. And shame on me for believing fiction. I was a big fan of the show Suits, so I was just like, yeah, that's what the career will be like. But there's several drawbacks to that plan. Number one, I live in Alabama. There are no corporate attorneys in Alabama that I know of. So I'd have to move elsewhere. But at the time, I was just like, well, I'll be an attorney. That'll be that. So I got a booklet and I was going to study for LSAT and take it, I think, in December. And I studied, and how the LSAT works is it's like structuring arguments and how logic, like you look at a sentence and what would strengthen this argument, what would weaken it, like stuff like that. It's tougher than it sounds, but it's one of those things if you are good with logic, you can do pretty well on it. And I've known people that have done really well on the LSAT. And going to take it is it a school in Birmingham? They said they had a couple of things like rules. You need to come in with 2 or maybe just 1 passport style photos. So I went to CVS, paid them the money, got my passport photo. Okay. And the other one was you couldn't have a cell phone. Okay, whatever. So I get there, and I get there fairly early, and the lady is as haughty as can be. You can tell she likes being a proctor. She likes being in charge. She's done it many times before. She's just a proud woman because she starts making small talk with me. She said, I heard that somebody took the SATs for people and made $50,000. And I was like, oh, well, that's a lot of money. And she turned, she's like, yeah, but it's wrong and illegal. And all I thought was, yeah, whatever, lady. You paid me $50,000. I'll take whatever for somebody. You say that like you wouldn't do it, but a lot of people would. But anyway, I show her my passport style photo, and she's like, good, go have a seat. And there were so many people. Like, these are college age students and, grown people. Like, the youngest person probably taking it was 20, if that. And these are people that are old enough to know better and follow simple instructions. But apparently this was beyond some future attorneys because they didn't come with the photo. And that lady was like, I can't let you take the test without it. I think it's just another way of IDing you because you had to have a photo ID and that. And she was kind of direct and kind of churlish to people, and some of the people didn't handle it too well, which she was kind of rude. But it was their fault, and she seemed to take a little too much joy in throwing the book at them. But these kids ended up adroitly being like, oh, hey, I got this student ID. Can I just cut this up? And she's like, yeah, I'll take that. I couldn't believe she agreed to that, but she kind of stuck to her guns and let them do that. And then a little bit after, somebody's phone went off. Now, you weren't supposed to bring a phone. It could have been an accident. They could have thought it was turned off, but she had a come apart. She acted like he had brought a pistol in, shot it in the air, and said he was going to take the test for someone else because she was just like, I'm going to have to invalidate all these tests. You need to get out of here. She was going to throw him out. And one guy even kind of laughed, and the lady's like, why are you laughing? Kind of like the deal of, you're enjoying it too much. How dare you enjoy something? And he's like, well, I think the lady knew him. He's like, oh, man, I just feel bad because he's going to miss out on the test that he paid for. But she let him back in. So she was a little bit more like all bark and no bite. But we had rules that we couldn't talk during our break. We couldn't go our cars during the break. We could just stand there and breathe and look at each other. And I can't tell you much about the test because I thought I did okay. Because I think it's 5 sections, and one section is purely for practice, but you don't know which section. So one section you could have done pretty well on, and another one you may not have. And I took it and waited for my score, and I was at my buddy's house. I was actually at Carrie's house, and I was like, "Oh, I got my score back," and I took a look at it, and I did very poorly. Like, I did bad, and I don't mean in the way like you talk to a girl after the test. How'd you do? I did bad. Oh, what'd you make? It was bad. I made a 91. What did you make? I made an 82. Oh, well, that's good. No, this is not that. I think, worse than anyone that took the LSAT in the entire country, because I made like a 131, which is atrociously low, because I think you get 120 for writing your name. So my dad thinks I must have messed up on a numbering or something, but I just think I just wasn't very good at it. And another side note is, just because you like to argue doesn't make you a good attorney. That has nothing to do with being an attorney. It's a myth. It's there are other qualities you need to be an attorney, and that wasn't one of them. So that kind of put an end to my attending law school before it even began, because even like your lower level schools won't take it. And at one point, before I got a job in financial services, I'd applied to the Birmingham School of Law and got in, but I didn't end up going. So I at least got into law school despite my poor attempt at the LSAT. So there is that, and I got that going for me.